The Antidote to Chaos: How Meaning Restores Order in a Fractured World. Before man ever built a city or lit a fire, he met two eternal forces, order and chaos. Order is where the light falls, the predictable, the known, the safe. Chaos is the dark beyond the campfire, the unknown, the unpredictable, the storm. Every culture, myth, and sacred story begins here, in this tension between the familiar and the frightening. And that's where you live, every single day. When you wake in the morning and check your phone, when you face a difficult conversation, when you walk into uncertainty, you're standing at the border between order and chaos. Jordan B. Peterson calls this the true battlefield of existence. His 12 rules for life isn't just advice on how to live better. It's a map for survival, not from the world, but from yourself. The ancient chaos beneath our calm. Peterson, a clinical psychologist with decades of experience, saw firsthand that people's lives often collapse not because of evil, but because of neglect. Little lies, small compromises, ignored responsibilities. These become the cracks where chaos seeps in. He didn't write this book as a preacher of perfection, but as a man who's wrestled with the question, why do good people destroy themselves? His answer was both ancient and revolutionary. Life is suffering, but meaning is the antidote to that suffering. Chaos cannot be destroyed. It can only be faced. Like the hero in every myth, from Gilgamesh to Moses to Christ, you must venture into the unknown, confront the dragon, and bring back order. That's what each of these 12 rules does. They are weapons forged from psychology, philosophy, and faith, practical principles that help you keep your footing in the storm. Why rules? Rules are not cages. They are scaffolds. They give shape to freedom. Modern man bristles at the word rules, thinking them repressive. But Peterson argues the opposite. Without order, there's no freedom, only chaos disguised as liberation. A river without banks becomes a flood. A life without structure becomes despair. Each rule is a boundary that keeps chaos at bay, not to limit you, but to channel your energy towards something meaningful. The rules are not moral slogans. They are existential survival codes. Stand up straight with your shoulders back is not a posture lesson. It's a call to face life's brutality with courage. Tell the truth is not etiquette. It's the foundation of reality itself. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street is not sentimentality. It's the art of finding grace in suffering. Each one hides a universe beneath its simplicity. The two paths before you. Peterson says every person faces two roads. One leads toward resentment and chaos. The other toward responsibility and meaning. The first path is seductive. It promises comfort, victimhood, and the sweet poison of blame. The second path demands everything, courage, sacrifice, humility, but offers what the first never can, purpose. The paradox is clear. The more responsibility you accept, the stronger you become. Responsibility is not punishment. It's the proof that your existence matters. A personal war. This book and Peterson's message is not about fixing the world. It's about fixing you, because the world is made of individuals. And if even one person becomes honest, disciplined, and courageous, order spreads outward like ripples on water. The opposite is also true. Each lie, each cowardly act, each indulgence in self-pity feeds a dragon of chaos. Peterson's 12 rules are an invitation to personal revolution. They do not guarantee comfort. They guarantee transformation. They ask you to stand in truth even when it costs you. Speak clearly even when trembling. Care for yourself as someone sacred. Seek meaning instead of pleasure. Face the unbearable with eyes open. Why chaos matters. Peterson doesn't promise a life free from pain. Quite the opposite. He says pain is inevitable, but it's not meaningless. Chaos, though terrifying, is also the source of creativity, renewal, and growth. In myth, chaos gives birth to creation. In psychology, crisis precedes healing. When life falls apart, when you lose your job, your health, your relationship, chaos re-enters. But if you stand straight, speak truth, and walk with purpose, you don't drown in it, you transform within it. The hero's journey is not about avoiding chaos, but learning to dance with it and bring back something sacred. The antidote. Peterson's vision is not pessimistic. It's redemptive. He reminds us that meaning is found in responsibility, not comfort. Truth is found in humility, not arrogance. And peace is found not in avoiding suffering, but in transcending it. This book, or rather this philosophy, begins where all great stories begin, at the edge of chaos. There, you must decide who you will be, the victim who curses the darkness or the hero who lights a candle. As Peterson writes, pick up your burden and walk. By doing so, you justify your miserable existence. You make the world just a little better. And that is not a small thing. Rule 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Before you can change the world, you must learn to stand. Not metaphorically, physically, literally, completely. Stand up. Straighten your spine. Square your shoulders. Lift your head. And for one moment, refuse to bow to the weight of invisible things. Fear, resentment, guilt, shame. Why begin here? Because the body and the soul are not strangers. They are partners. The way you hold your body is the way you hold your life. The lobster and the law of life. Peterson starts with an unlikely philosopher, the lobster. Yes, the crustacean with claws. He describes how even lobsters, ancient creatures of the deep, live in hierarchies. They fight for territory, for dominance, for survival. When a lobster wins, its serotonin levels rise, its posture straightens, its movement becomes confident. When it loses, it slumps high, it becomes passive. Sound familiar? This isn't random biology, it's archetype. The lobster's nervous system is ancient, wired much like ours. When you lose in life, love, work, purpose, your body collapses into that same defeated crouch. Shoulders forward, eyes down, chest caved in. The body tells the mind, we are losing, and the mind obeys. But when you stand up straight, even before you feel like it, you reverse the signal. You tell your mind, we are not beaten, we are preparing. That's why Peterson's first rule begins not with belief, but with posture. Before the spirit rises, the spine must. The symbolism of standing. Throughout history, to stand has meant to awaken. In Scripture, when God speaks of prophets, he says, arise. To arise is to answer divine summons, to move from paralysis to purpose. When you stand up straight, you're not just adjusting your shoulders, you're declaring your intent to face reality. You are saying, I am here, I will not collapse before life. That's what every good life begins with, a stance, the posture of defeat. You've seen it, maybe you've lived it. The defeated man who walks with his eyes glued to the ground, his words soft with apology, his presence barely noticeable. He's shrinking from the world because the world has convinced him he's small. He's the one who avoids conflict, avoids responsibility, avoids risk, because he believes he cannot win. Peterson warns that this posture becomes prophecy. When you act as though you're defeated, life treats you as such. People sense it. Opportunities pass you by. You become prey in a world of predators. Not because the world is cruel, but because you have signaled to it that you will not fight. In a sense, the world arranges itself around your posture. If you carry yourself as a victim, life will treat you like one. If you carry yourself like a warrior, life gives you battles worthy of your strength, the courage to face forward. Standing up straight is not arrogance. It is not the puffed-up chest of pride. It is the humble posture of readiness. The stand of someone saying, I know suffering is coming, but I will meet it. It's courage in its most physical form. Imagine a soldier on a battlefield. The storm of noise, the smoke, the terror, and yet he stands. Why? Because his posture tells the enemy something. You will not find surrender here. That's what this rule asks of you. Every morning when you rise, shoulders back, spine aligned, you are symbolically reenacting that soldier's resolve. You're not pretending you're fearless. You're reminding fear who's in charge. The psychological echo. Peterson explains that when you adopt this posture, your body chemistry changes. Serotonin, the same chemical that signals confidence in lobsters, rises in humans as well. You start to feel capable, alert, present. You become more likely to speak up, to make decisions, to take responsibility. And responsibility, Peterson insists, is where meaning begins. Meaning isn't found in pleasure. It's found in shouldering your load. But you can't carry your load if you're hunched over. So, straighten up. It's not just psychological advice. It's spiritual mechanics, standing up against chaos. When Peterson says stand up straight, he's giving a ritual instruction for how to meet chaos. Chaos never announces itself politely. It arrives as tragedy, loss, betrayal, failure. It enters your life without warning. The only proper greeting to chaos is posture. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you stand in it. You may not feel strong, but the act of standing is a declaration of faith. Faith that you are capable of order, that your being matters, that your spirit is not yet broken. This is why ancient warriors, saints, and thinkers all understood posture as prayer. The bowed head of humility, the straight back of courage, the lifted chin of hope. You don't just think your way to strength. You stand your way there. The first act of rebellion, in a world that rewards victimhood and punishes virtue. To stand tall is an act of rebellion. It says, I refuse to dissolve into self-pity. I will not envy those above me or despise those below me. I will take my place in the hierarchy of life, not as a slave, but as a participant. You can only rise if you first stand. And so, Rule 1 becomes more than physical. It becomes metaphysical. It's the rebirth of your posture before existence itself. The moment you stand tall, you realign your inner structure with truth. And truth, as Peterson endlessly reminds us, is the antidote to chaos. Practical reflection. Every day, try this. When you feel anxious or defeated, stop. Breathe. Straighten your spine. Lift your chin slightly. Pull your shoulders back until you feel the line of strength run down your back. Look at the world, not down at your feet, but forward. You're not pretending you're powerful. You're reminding your nervous system that you are alive. And that's where order begins. The essence of Rule 1. To stand up straight with your shoulders back is to face the unknown voluntarily. Signal your willingness to bear responsibility. Reclaim your dignity as a conscious being. Begin the transformation from victim to victor. Because until you stand, nothing in your life can rise. You are not only a being who suffers, you are a being capable of bearing suffering and still walking tall. Jordan B. Peterson. Rule 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Imagine this. Your beloved dog is sick. You rush to the vet. You buy the prescribed medicine. You set alarms to give at the right time. You speak softly, feed carefully, and check if the creature's tail wags again. Now imagine it's you who is sick. How long does it take before you skip your own medication, neglect your rest, or drown your exhaustion in scrolling and self-criticism? Peterson noticed something both astonishing and tragic. People are better caretakers for their pets than for themselves. The strange guilt of being human. Why? Because most of us, deep down, don't believe we're worthy of care. We think love must be earned by perfection. We think discipline must be punishment. And when we fail, we punish ourselves with neglect, silently whispering, I deserve this chaos. But you are not the enemy. You are the person God entrusted you to protect. This is a quiet revolution of Rule 2. You are a soul under your care. You have been assigned to yourself as guardian, teacher, and physician. Peterson's question isn't sentimental. It's deeply moral. If you're capable of compassion for another, why withhold it from yourself? The biblical mirror. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. But what if you don't love yourself? Then your love becomes pity, manipulation, or martyrdom. Peterson flips that verse inside out. Before you can truly love your neighbor, you must learn to love yourself as someone valuable enough to protect. Self-care is not narcissism. It's stewardship. You are not a god to be worshipped, nor a slave to be beaten. You are a creation to be cared for. When you treat yourself well, you don't become selfish. You become useful. Because a person who respects himself becomes a blessing to others. The split within. Peterson invites you to imagine that you are two people, the one who needs help and the one capable of giving it. Between them stands an invisible relationship, just like between a doctor and a patient. Now ask, if you were the doctor, would you ignore the patient's pain? Would you say, you're hopeless, you'll never change? Or would you sit with them patiently, diagnose the cause, and prescribe what leads to healing, even if it's difficult? That's what you must do with yourself. Stop being the tyrant doctor who despises his patient. Be the wise healer who sees potential even in the wounded. What responsibility really means. The phrase responsible for helping is the key. Responsibility means responding with ability. It doesn't mean indulging every desire. It means providing what truly helps. If you have a child, you don't give them candy just because they cry for it. You give them nutrition. You guide them. You teach them that boundaries are love disguised as rules. Treat yourself the same way. Feed your body well. Feed your mind wisely. Feed your soul intentionally. That's responsibility, not indulgence. The psychology of self-betrayal. Peterson's clinical insight is piercing. Many people act against their own best interest because they secretly despise themselves. They overeat, overspend, overwork, overthink, not because they're weak, but because they've lost faith in their own worth. They say yes when they mean no. They chase pleasure because they don't believe peace is possible. They take care of others to feel needed, then collapse in resentment. The antidote? Responsibility rooted in respect. When you start to act like your own caretaker, you rebuild self-trust one small decision at a time. You don't start by overhauling your life. You start by brushing your teeth, cleaning your space, making that appointment, forgiving yourself the delay, and trying again tomorrow. The mythic frame, the healer and the wounded. In ancient myths, the hero who heals others must first descend into the underworld to heal himself. Chiron, the wounded centaur, could cure anyone but himself until he offered his wound to the gods in sacrifice. Peterson echoes this archetype. You cannot save the world if you cannot care for the soul carrying your mission. Healing begins when you stop trying to escape yourself and start learning to help yourself. Because the world doesn't need another self-sacrificing martyr. It needs whole, responsible individuals who know their value and act on it. Practical responsibility. So what does it look like, practically, to treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping? Speak to yourself like a mentor, not a critic. Ask, what would I advise someone I love in my situation? Then take your own advice. Set boundaries as acts of love. The word no is often a synonym for self-respect. Nourish, don't numb. Replace habits that sedate you with habits that strengthen you. Create a schedule that honors your humanity. Sleep enough. Work meaningfully. Rest deliberately. That's moral hygiene. Keep promises to yourself. Nothing destroys self-trust faster than breaking your own word. Forgive yourself for yesterday. You are not what you failed to do. You are what you choose to do next. Responsibility is the beginning of meaning. Peterson's rule doesn't promise comfort. It promises wholeness. To take responsibility for yourself is to declare that your life matters enough to be cared for, improved, and redeemed. It's not selfishness. It's preparation. A pilot puts on his own oxygen mask first, not because he's more important, but because he's useless if he passes out before helping others. In the same way, treating yourself as someone worthy of help makes you more capable of carrying others. The essence of Rule 2. To treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping is to see yourself as sacred, not disposable. Nurture growth, not guilt. Accept responsibility for your healing. Act on your own behalf, even when you feel unworthy, because you are the first neighbor you are called to love. And the care you give yourself today becomes the strength you give the world tomorrow. You have a moral obligation to care for yourself. You are, after all, someone. Jordan B. Peterson.